Good morning. I was just out and fed the birds. They've been waiting for me. They were making a big ruckus. I'm going to show you out the window. If So for hours of amusement when you're stuck in the house, I recommend a bird feeder. They're adorable. They're hungry. They appreciate what you give them. Look at them all. Pheasants come here all day. Birds come to eat. This year I'm going to grow sunflower seeds for them. But that's what they like to eat. So I fed the birds and now I got to take the compost out, and I don't throw mine in the bin and put it out to the curb. I used to do that when I lived in town. But if you want to start a garden of your own and you want to do a no-till garden, I suggest keeping all your compost. So find a place in the yard. If you have one of those bins you want to put it in, you can do it simply or you can make it complicated. I'm doing it simply. I'm not even putting it in a bin. Basically, I found a spot on my property that I just take it out and dump it neatly and kind of spread it along. And what I've noticed is that the birds will come and pick out of it, and they poop in it. So that's okay, because the birds are kind of turning it while they're looking around, and they're moving it around and creating better compost. So if they're pooping on your compost, they're adding nitrogen and stuff to the soil that the soil needs. So I've stopped giving away my compost. I recommend you do that too. And I think it's a good idea to feed the birds. If you can, when we get back to normal and you can get out and get a bird feeder at some point, even if you start it next winter, it's a nice thing to do, and it brings you joy in the winter to feed the birds, I find. And then it's amazing, you put the food out there and they'll stop in. Once you start feeding them, though, you want to keep doing it because they become dependent on you, and they keep checking for food, and they'll be looking, hey, you got anything for me today? They're like wild pets. Anyways, head to the compost. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show you how to plant some seeds, and we'll do that next. They're waiting for my compost to be dumped. Here's my little spot. This is my little pile. Is it pretty? Maybe not to some people. The birds think it's takeout. And yeah, so you just dump it there, and they'll pick through it. There's a little bit of carrot and something good. See them hollering? They're like, oh, she brought us out our lunch. See them? I don't know if you can see them in the tree. I don't have the best camera, but they're up there. I'm going to name them. My aunt feeds the birds. My mother feeds the birds. My grandmother fed the birds. I hope lots of people feed the birds. It's really wonderful. And they're amusing. My aunt actually named hers. They're little pets. Anyways, they need something to eat, and the decomposition of the compost is going to be useful in building up the quality of the soil, which is what you want to do in your garden. And that's all free. Remember, I said we're going to do it cheap and easily. Starts by saving your own compost. And whatever stays will feed a nutrients will filter down for this tree, this beautiful tree. I can't wait to see what this is going to look like when it turns into blossom. This is our first spring here. It's exciting! All right, and that's where I'm planning on putting my garden. So the no-till garden plan is going to be over there. So you see that little hill, there's sunshine there. I'm going to put garden everywhere. At some point you're going to see it's going to be all garden. Yeehaw! Can't wait. Okay, so I did mention that we're in renovation. So I'm not going to get all paranoid if you see mess and stuff in my house, because I'm in renovation. I'm on lockdown, and probably some of you are in your pajamas. Let's be honest. People are like, I don't have my hair and my makeup done. No, that's not what this is about. It's about gardening. And in the summertime when I'm in the garden, I'm not worried about that. My hands are going to be dirty. I don't worry about that. I'm just going to be real, because that's how this is. This is real life. Okay, so these are some of the seeds that I purchased on the Seedy Saturday event that they had in Amherst at the museum. And I went, and there was all kinds of fun garden people there. It was a nice event. And I was able to purchase for a very reasonable price all of these seeds. Now you could pick different things, depends on what you want. Everybody has different tastes and you know, they're going to pick something. Now, we're going to start with the cilantro because for one, it's really easy to grow. And these seeds came from there it is, Broad Fork Farms. And we're going to plant their seed. Okay, so back to the making it cheap and easy. Okay, so what I've been doing is I've been saving containers. So let's say, for example, if you go to a store and you buy a chicken and it comes in one of these containers with a lid. Okay, so those little clamshell things, I just save those and I clean them out, and that's what we can use for free to plant in. You don't have to go and buy special things. Let's not make it complicated. Let's keep it simple. Okay, so I did buy soil, but you don't have to buy soil. If you got a shovel and the ground is workable at all, you can go out and shovel some. It's going to warm up next week. You can go out, you can take some soil, take it out of your lawn, take it out of somewhere where you haven't put any pesticides. I don't support pesticide use. I think natural is better. So you don't want to eat pesticides. You can research it. It's not good for you. Okay, so this is a Pro Mix that I bought. Home Hardware, Buddy Elliott. See that? That's what I'm using. I'm not necessarily recommending anything. I'm just saying that's what I'm using. So I put some of that. Let's just jump to the next step. Ta-da! You put some of it in a container. So this is my little container. I just used my hands, played in the earth, pretend you're like making mud pies. Cilantro. Now, you can use a pen if you don't want to get your hands dirty. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. They'll wash. They get washed and washed and washed. So you just make a little trench to put the seed in. Now I wet this because this kind of soil this mix is really dry. So, and you can plant it further together. I planted some before and some of the seed didn't come up because, you know, some of the seed gets damaged or whatever can happen to it. And maybe it got squished or whatever. So now their seed's really good. So hopefully it will all come up, but we'll see. So cilantro is really easy to grow and it's really good for you. So I think it's a really good one to start with as a herb or anything. Some herbs are a little bit trickier. Cilantro, it grows wonderful. And it's something that you can eat and cook it. Eat it raw in salads, put it in soups. So I'm just going to plop these little seeds out of the package. Now, you can do it a number of ways. You can get fancy, but basically you just take one of these little things. See this? There's your little seed. Put it in the ground. How hard is that? It's not that hard. So now they can get messed up and start coming out in a big rush. See that? I just fixed the dilemma averted. Okay, so we're going to plant these. Oh, see, they're starting to go everywhere, but that's okay. See, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know what? This is a really good project to get the kids involved with. If you have any kids or grandchildren, do it together. It's something fun. Okay, so basically, I might have missed a spot somewhere, and that can happen, but it's not rocket science. They'll figure it out. We can move them. We're going to transplant these. Now, basically, you just push the soil. See, I put the seeds into the earth. So this is my little bagged earth. And then I just cover them all just a little bit. Now, if you, I put two just got squished into each other. Oh my goodness. It's going to be cozy in their little hole. Okay, so you're just pushing these in the ground like this. This is more fun with friends, but hey, it's okay to do things by yourself. I think you're all learning that this week. Yeah, we're not so bad. We're all right people. So we're planting these. Go about it quick. There we go. See that? You're helping me. You're doing this with me. Thank you for the encouragement. It's always appreciated. There we go. So cilantro's, anybody who's drinking green drinks and making themselves blender drinks, cilantro is wonderful for that. It tastes delicious, and to make a green smoothie out of cilantro, delish. You put it in with banana and water and throw it in the blender. Put a little almond milk or whatever whatever you're taking, some berries. It's really yummy. Cilantro's good. And mango salsa, oh yummy. Made out of cilantro. Or a main ingredient. Of course, mangoes are a main ingredient. But, there's so many uses for it, and it's pretty easy. So that's planted. That's how long it took. It's been a couple of minutes. And it needs to be watered. So that's a simple thing. We'll just water it. And then this was planted. These are my little baby cilantros. Aren't they cute? So these guys were planted, I don't know. I've sort of lost track of time. I don't know what day it is. A couple weeks ago, I think. So they grow really quick. So if it starts getting ahead of you, guess what? You eat it. So you can just break off the plants once they start getting a little taller. Just take off some of the leaves and then, just eat them. Or introduce them into your sandwich, your salad, whatever. And then if it warms up sooner, we can put this and move it outside. Now, realistically, in Canada, I've been gardening for a long time. These aren't probably going to get to the soil outside and they'll be eaten because it's not necessarily going to warm up quick enough for this first group of cilantros to live outside. It's just their lifespan is shorter than the length of time it would be warm enough for them really to live out. But these ones that we're planting now should be okay. So what you can do too with cilantro is if once it starts growing tall, you can still plant it outside. It makes you grow beautiful flowers. The tops of cilantro are beautiful. And they have, they turn in their seeds that they produce at the end of their lifespan is coriander. So you can use that and cook with it. You can dry the coriander. You can dry this. I think cilantro loses its really yummy flavor dried. I've heard that you can freeze it, but I just keep growing it and eating it fresh. So, and even these little guys will probably, if they're still around, because I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat this stuff. It's really yummy, and I can't resist. If it's sitting on the shelf, I'm going to want to. So that's how easy it is to grow cilantro. So that's the cilantro lesson of the day. So I encourage you to make an attempt at planting something if you have any seeds in your house. Read the package and see. Some stuff is best left till be planted directly outside once it's warm enough. But that's probably going to be a month from now. So we'll do some introductions on things outside once we start going outside to work. But yeah, it's snowing again. Yeah, Canadian gardening is a little bit more challenging than warm climate gardening, but it's totally a worthy endeavor. So I hope you're enjoying my little blog, and we'll see you next time. Happy gardening. Okay, so one more thing. So I start watering this, okay? So I brought my little Brita over here, and I'm watering it because, well, it already had water in it. And this loose soil, see what happens? I don't know if you can see this, but the water pushes the seed back up. You see the seeds? So all you got to do, it's good because it got them wet, is just push those seeds back down a little bit because they do better in the dark. And you can, once you get this done like this, get them down, you can put them in someplace dark, like, just the problem is out of sight, out of mind. I've tried this before, and sometimes you forget. So you can just put them in the window and leave them. But yeah, they kind of need dark to germinate. So that means get them started. So what I also recommend too is that you get them watered really good, because what happens is they dry out. So you can pre-soak seed. Like I could have took that seed out and put it on a little, like I often use like the saucer from a teacup, and I'll put them in there and just let them sit to help to crack open the outer casing that contains the birth of the seed, I guess. You know, I don't know, that's getting a little technical. So there it is. So I wet them, keep it wet. Like the soil sucks it up. There's a lot of peat moss in this. So the moss soaks up all the water. And if you don't water it a lot, the water doesn't even reach down into the seed. Because look, if I just take a little bit, oh, see, I did good there. It is actually wet there. But some places it's just, if you don't give it a lot of water, you can't just have it stay on the top. See how it's dry right there? You don't want that. You want it to be wet. Get them wet. Get them really good and wet at first. And every day, maybe twice a day. If your house is really dry, and that's another thing for health, you don't want your house too dry. People think, oh, I want to keep it dry. And no. Viruses actually do better in dry environments. A humidifier is a good idea if your house is really dry. What I do too is I have a spray bottle. That could be a really good investment if you're a gardener or if you have plants inside. I like to have plants inside. It's a good idea. If you don't have a space outside that you can garden and you're like, oh, I wish I could do that. So you can grow stuff in just these little containers and just keep them in there. Their life can be in the windowsill. So that's a very reasonable thing to do. So, yeah. Happy gardening. See you next time.